Back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys are having a great day, great week, great month. And as always, it's Friday on the podcast, so we're bringing that good Friday energy to you. It is exciting because we have a new asset. Well, not new. We have talked about it before on the podcast, but it is so rare. And I love talking about those new rare assets that not a lot of people buy because it's always fun to learn about them. We got Andy Weiner with us from Rockstep Capital, and he is here to talk about shopping centers. So if you guys out there are interested, strip center retail, shopping centers, you drive by them all the time. If that's something that kind of gets you excited, this is the episode to be tuning into. Let's jump into it. Andy, thanks for hopping on the show.
Hey, Gabe, thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. I told you before we got on here, we always like to start with stories. We like to hear how people got to where they are. Shopping center is pretty unique, so I'm sure you got an equally unique story. Why don't you take us to the beginning and tell us how you got here?
So we got here because my grandfather in 1926 started a chain of clothing stores called Weiner Stores. Our family name, we had 159 stores. So it was a regional chain in Texas and Louisiana. I ran the operations. I ran the stores. I ran real estate, systems, logistics. I'm a retailer by background. 28 years ago, I started a company called Rockstep Capital here in Houston. We do shopping center investing. We've been doing it since then. We've built or acquired about 10 million square feet of shopping centers. We currently have assets in 11 states, grocery anchored, non-grocery anchored, open air centers, and then enclosed malls. Our focus is what we call hometown markets. That's secondary, tertiary markets. And every time we buy a mall, we get local investors to be part of our equity to reduce risk. They help with entitlements, property taxes, incentives, all these type of issues about reducing risk. We get local community bank lenders. We are hometown players. We have our fund called Hometown America. We are vertically integrated. We've got about 100 employees. Our name Rockstep is a dance move, even though it's not a word in the dictionary. So Rockstep comes from swing music, big band, Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, 50s, 60s genre. You rockstep when you switch directions on count 7, 8, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, rock step, ball pivot change. It's a metaphor for us. We want to be nimble, light, listen to the music in the industry, and then we use it as a verb. Hey guys, we got an opportunity. Let's rockstep. We have a problem. We need to rockstep. So we use it as a verb. And then I wrote an owner's manual for our company, 25 rules, Gabe, that I require everybody at our company to live by. And I call these rules rock steps. You should have guessed that, Gabe. But it's okay. So here's the 25. We have the rock step of the week, which is rock step number 6, be prepared. The whole company talks about what does it mean to be prepared 10 o'clock on Mondays. And then we have a discussion, and this is the language we use. This is how we hire. This is how we fire. This is how we build a high-performance team. And it is the core critical part of everything that we do. If you were going to interview with Rockstep, Gabe, you have to come to the interview. What are your favorite 3 rock steps and why? What are your most challenging rock steps and why? So that is the quick of it.
Nice. I like it. I like how integrated your name is to your guys' principles. And it sounds like I'm assuming you do swing dancing. That's probably something
I do swing dancing. It's East Coast swing. I love that genre of swing, the Frank, Ellis, Sammy Davis Jr., that whole genre. I need to add 2 things. I want to tell why retail is interesting today. Can I do that, Gabe?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. So again, most of the sexy parts of commercial real estate have been multifamily and industrial. Retail's been out of favor till about 3 years ago. And 2 things have happened to make retail one of the desirable sectors, maybe the most desirable sector in today's world. 2 things. One is COVID and Amazon basically destroyed the weak players. And those that are left have developed their own e-commerce strategy, their own distribution network, their own app. And they're able to not just protect market share against Amazon, but grow market share. And these companies that have developed the strategy have very strong balance sheets. And they're telling Wall Street, hey, we want to grow by 50 stores or 200 stores a year. But they're growing into an inventory of shopping centers that's not growing. Okay. So you've got very strong dynamics.
You don't hear about people building shopping
They're
centers
not.
anymore.
They're building
It's not
multifamily.
crazy.
They're building build, but no shopping centers. So
Yeah.
you have all these companies that want to expand, but they're expanding into an inventory that's stagnant. So if you own second generation retail, you've got the winds behind you. Second, we have the advantage of having positive leverage. Positive leverage. Cap rated acquisition is higher than your interest rate and your debt. In the multifamily space, it's valued at a 5 cap, but you're borrowing at 6 or 6.25. That's negative leverage. And with negative leverage, you have to have a strategy of prayer. And prayer is never a great strategy in real estate. You've got to pray that your net operating income and your effective yield rises above your interest rates or your toast. Okay. So retail today, what's that?
It's never a good strategy to
prayer
rely
is
on
never a good strategy in real estate. So retail is in favor. So that's the quick of it.
Nice.
What other questions you got, Gabe?
I was gonna say, let me hop in here because you are the master and I don't know a lot of about retail, so I'm curious. Right when you got on here, you kind of broke it down into 3 different kind of subgroups of retail. So you mentioned grocery anchored, then you mentioned non-grocery anchored, and malls.
Yes.
I did not realize that that's how people in the industry view it. And so when you're talking about retail, you're talking about the strip centers with the Safeway in the middle.
Yes.
That's one category. And then
that's
it sounds
grocery.
like the other
that's a grocery.
Grocery anchored, yep. And then the other category is
let me break it down. You've got strip, which is small, 10,000 feet, 5 tenants, cleaners, Chipotle. That's a strip, a little pad. You've got neighborhood centers, which are 100,000 feet, might have a grocery, might not. You've got power centers. They generally have TJ Maxx, Ross, restaurants around it. Those are a couple 100,000 to 500,000 square feet. Then you have enclosed malls, where part of the stores are facing an inner corridor. That's an enclosed mall. So we're buying a grocery anchored center, shopping center at a 9 cap in Louisiana a week from Monday.
Wow, 9 caps.
And that's a great. What's that?
That's pretty high. I would expect it to be lower than that.
And what's really good about this is that the center was destroyed in Hurricane Laura 2020, rebuilt for $32 million, new roof, new HVAC, new interiors, new facade, and we're buying it for $19 million. Okay, and our debt is at 7% in a market that's going through a job boom. So you have a brand new center that would probably, with land and parking lot, be $40 million. We're buying it at half price. In the enclosed mall space, that is a mid-teens cap rate. So we bought a mall at 17 cap. Debt is at 50%. So and we did that in Kansas. We pay an 8 pref. We return 20% of capital per year for each of the first 2 years without a refi. So the enclosed mall space is a mid-teens cap rate opportunity. Lever it at 50%.
That's really interesting to me because malls have, I feel like they had their heyday in 2005 or something like that, like a long time ago. And so whenever I actually go to a mall, I'm always curious about who invests in these, and there's got to be a lot of risk
right
to
here,
them.
right here. Yeah. Okay.
So you're competing with like the Simmons and
look, Simon you grade malls in A+, A-, B+, B. We don't play in that A world. That's Simon. Okay. That is the public REITs. We play in the B-, C world. We call it $300 to $500 a foot in sales. That's how it's defined. Simon is dealing with $1,000 a foot. And the reality is that you can buy 50 or 100 acre deals at land value, but at 15 caps. That's the luxury, the secret of it. And so the mall strategy has the mall space has 3 strategies. One, you can buy a mall that works just fine with its current architecture. It's fine. You don't have to do anything. The second strategy is you can arbitrage the periphery. You can buy something at a 15 cap. You can sell off a ground lease in front at a 6 cap. You can sell off a redeveloped Sears box that has TJ Maxx at an 8 cap. That's a second strategy. The third one is you shrink retail and you add other things. So we're demalling 6 malls. One of them is demolish the whole mall except for Dillard's and Penny's and put a Target in and a grocery store and a bank and and live happily ever after. Another one is we're putting in a sports complex, a hockey arena, $45 million hockey arena owned by the city, 2 sheets of ice and 40,000 square feet of flex space. 3 other D malls are TJ Maxx, Ross, Five Below, facing out, get rid of the interior. So there's all different strategies, but if you're buying something at 15 cap and you are convinced that you can maintain NOI, nothing's wrong with that. Lever it at 50%, at 7%, 7.5% interest rate. Your cash on cash yields are over 20%. Just harvest cash.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I did not realize they traded at such high cap rates. That's crazy.
There's crazy people out there who play in the multifamily world, Gabe, who buy stuff at 5 or 6 or 7 cap. I don't understand those kind of people. Do you? Just kidding.
Yeah, I would never do that.
I'm just kidding. No, we live in a different world. We can't understand that world, but that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah. So, okay, interesting. So, of the 3, grocery anchored, non-grocery, and then malls, which are the ones that you prefer? Which, like, if someone were getting into this, obviously malls, you need
the more opportunistic returns. In other words, the high teens IRRs and sometimes 20 IRRs is the mall space.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we're looking at one property out west right now that is 16 cap. We're going to make an offer on it Wednesday, and it's a solid NOI in a great market, and it does not have a lot of lift and doesn't have a lot of capex exposure. You lever it at 50%. We have a loan right now at 7.25%. You're buying it at a 16 cap, steady NOI. We're returning after the 8 pref. We're returning, I don't know, 10 to 15% of equity a year.
Dang. So when these malls, some of them have like 20, 30 tenants. When you buy them, how are they leased out? Is it triple net? Is it gross?
Okay. So the answer is mall by mall is different. Generally, on the interior, your specialty tenants, they're on rolling 5-year leases. Okay. Some of them, you have stress on the interior where the tenants want to leave and they want to go into an open air center. So if a center says, we're looking at a center and they say net operating income $6 million, we'll go tenant by tenant and say, you know what? This guy is paying $200,000 in rent, but their occupancy cost is 12%. They really should be at 7%. We'll just mark it down in our underwriting. Okay. And we know that at the end of the term, they're going to retrade and we should be at about a 7% occupancy cost. So we underwrite it. Our 16 cap is the underwritten stressed rents.
And what is occupancy generally like when you buy these assets?
It's across the board. It's generally 90%.
90%, really? That's surprising. That's more than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So we're talking about malls. Grocery anchored makes sense. The non-grocery is something that I've actually looked at. Just the small, 5 to 10 tenants.
That's a great sector, Gabe. That's a great sector, particularly if it's in the neighborhood where you're operating, because that's just a good business. It's a lot of work. You could buy a center for $1 million or buy a center for $30 million, and they're the same amount of work. Okay. But the nice thing about the small center is that generally you're able to drive rents higher.
Right.
Okay. That's a nice part, but you've got to work it hard. You got to work it hard. It's a great business.
Yeah. And those ones, how has the composition of the tenancy changed in the past, 10, 15 years? Amazon came along. It's kind of destroyed a lot of companies. Are you seeing the tenant composition changing, the demand changing? Or
you mean for the small 10,000 foot strips?
The non-grocery, 10 tenants.
For the smaller strips, it's generally restaurant service. Okay. Verizon, I mean,
Tax
retail, a
people.
haircut, nail salon,
Yeah.
Chipotle, those are very, very desirable centers if they're designed right and they're in a good part of a market. Great business. Cap rates for those are 6, 7, 8 cap. Good business. And then if you can buy it or build it to, let's say you build it to a 10 cap, you sell it for a 7 or 8. That's how you make money. Okay. How
And the
you make
value add there is generally, are you? I've heard it really depends on the leases. Like the lease is a good portion of the value add. If they have, if they're not triple net and you can make them triple net.
Yes, and if somebody's below market and you can get them to market or you trade them out for somebody at market, that is yes, that's how you play that game. That's how you
Understandable.
play that
Those
game.
ones you can find. So if someone were they wanted to get into this space, they wanted to get into the shopping center space. I'm assuming they're not going to start at the malls. You're not going
Yeah,
to start at the
yeah,
mall level. You're not going to be reaching out to malls. You're going to be starting at the strip center because that's where you can get, you can do off market deals. You can find the owners.
correct. Or they can come in as an LP and just learn it by watching. Now, we have a learning center. If you go to rockstep.com, we have a learning center where we have over 100 articles on every aspect of shopping centers, definitions, co-tenancies, IRR, every single aspect of shopping centers. And it's written for people new to the sector. And then we
Nice.
have videos as well, where we basically in video form describe all aspects of shopping centers. So if people want to learn about the sector, they can do that. We also have a YouTube channel called the Shopping Center Channel. So we've got videos where we talk about all aspects of shopping centers. And then on Instagram, I'm the Shopping Center Guy. So please subscribe to Instagram and they can just learn more about shopping centers. I do think that in today's world, if you're looking for yield, it's the only sector today in commercial real estate that has yield. That's it. If cash flow, current cash flow is important, then you should at least look at the shopping center sector.
Yeah.
I'm
I
a
will
big
say
fan of it.
RV parks. I buy RV parks. I buy mobile home parks, RV parks, and self storage. RV
Yep.
parks compete. They don't get into the 17. That's
No, no, no,
pretty
no, no, no.
crazy.
No, no,
But
no, no. It's the mall space is a cool space. It's not for the faint of heart. The challenge in the mall space is the deals move very fast. Okay.
Hmm.
You have 3 to 5 weeks when you learn about a deal to when you have to prove that your equity's in place. And so it's very few players. So in a grocery anchored center deal, there might be 50 or 100 people that bid on it. In the enclosed mall space, there's 3 or 4. That's why you can get it better. And debt is hard. So our strategy is community bank debt, local investors, business leaders who are part of the equity, which reduces risk and increases the opportunity for incentives, entitlements, help on property taxes. They're effectively deputized leasing agents for alternative uses. They're on the board of the community college, the hospital district, economic development district. So we basically reduce our risk by getting local business leaders to be part of our deals.
Makes sense. And when you're looking at the location, the metro that you're investing in, do you only invest in major metros, DFW,
No,
Seattle,
no, 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 no. We are
LA?
in hometown markets. We are in
Oh, hometown,
secondary,
right? You mentioned
tertiary.
that. Yep.
Hometowns is not DFW. It's not Atlanta, Chicago,
Yep.
Seattle. It is markets under 1 million, sometimes as small as 100, 150,000 that have essential drivers. They've got to have major university, major government research or military facilities, major hospital district, Fortune 1000 companies, strong tourism. They've got to have something that drives population growth.
Makes sense. All right. Well, hey, I just took a peek at the clock. It looks like we've already hit the 20-minute mark. So it is time to jump into the quick question round. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's rock and roll, Gabe.
Let's do it. It starts with education. It could be any form, could be a book you've read, a conference you've gone to, a mentorship program you've been a part of. I just need 2 recommendations, one for general life wisdom and then one for real estate.
Okay, so a book I would recommend is The Road Less Stupid. It's about how do you avoid stupid things in business. Great book.
I
Okay.
love it. Who
What
wrote
was
it?
the second question? There was another part to that question.
It's 2 recommendations, one for general life wisdom, one for real estate or business. So that sounds like the
I think it's
could be
both. I think
either,
that
really.
covers both. The Road Less Stupid by Cunningham. You got to
I
buy it.
like it. The road
Okay.
less stupid. All right, next question is for your younger self. Let's go back to the Andy who was just getting into the business. Go back to him, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward.
Stamina. If you do development in real estate, you better have a lot of cash because it's cash out for a long time before you get a deal done.
Yeah,
Stamina and patience. Okay.
there you go. I like it. And I that has been echoed across many episodes that you need to have more cash than you think when you get into pretty much any deal. It doesn't matter if you're developing, it could be a rehab that you're doing. Things are always going to go wrong. You're going to need that cash. And if you underwrite, just add some cushion because, it's happened to me too many times that I too many times that I'd like to admit where I got into the deal and I should have had more cash on hand than I did. So everybody, when you're underwriting these deals, put in more cash than you expect.
Yes.
All right, next question is about the U.S. I've already mentioned, or you've already mentioned you like those tertiary markets, secondary, tertiary. So whittle it down to one specific market. What are you most excited about investing in today?
Wow. A market today. I mean, I'll tell you markets we're in, like Rapid City, South Dakota, Manhattan, Kansas. We're buying a property in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I do like Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Kansas, the Dakotas, Nebraska. I love these, Idaho. I like these. We're red state guys, or we're
Mm,
red county in blue states or purple states. We are in the conservative part of the world, and we like the fact that they're generally more pro business, generally less government entanglements, and that allows us to kind of rock step and be more creative.
there you go. Actually, you've mentioned those are three states that not a lot of people call out here. You were mentioning Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana. It's interesting that you chose those. I have heard good things about Arkansas, but I haven't bought there.
I love Arkansas. I mean, Arkansas is booming. It's got major companies. Obviously, it's got Walmart, but ease of business is great.
Yeah.
Alabama. I like the Carolinas. States I try to avoid are Illinois, California,
And those
up
blue states.
east. Where we've got out migration.
Yeah. All right. Next question is about lessons learned. Not every deal that we get into goes the way we expect it. In fact, pretty much every time something goes wrong, and that's when we're going to get to learn a lesson. So, what was a deal that went just a little bit sideways for you guys, and then what was the lesson you pulled from it?
So we bought a deal in Minnesota in a smaller market west of the Twin Cities, and we paid too much for it. And the market didn't have essential drivers. It didn't have
Mm,
any of these five things. Okay, and as a result, there just wasn't demand when vacant space came up. And so we have now focused on markets that have at least one, preferably two or three essential drivers. Some markets are too small.
yeah. And it sounds like the lesson there is stick to your underwriting criteria.
Yes.
Never go away from that. When you do, things go wrong. It's so hard, especially if you haven't closed a deal recently. You start underwriting something and you're like, man, I just want to close this. And you see a red flag, but you're like, you start justifying it in your mind.
Yep.
But the lesson is don't ever try to justify something if there's a red flag. Just walk away and it
Yes.
will make your life easier. All right, next question is the highlight reel. What is a deal that stands out in your mind as one of your favorites? Maybe everything went right or just a good story behind it.
Well, I would say that either our Manhattan, Kansas deal or our Rapid City, South Dakota deal, we just bought them at the right price. We bought them at high cap rates. Um, we had great investors. We have tons of cash. We're returning equity ahead of schedule. The markets have essential drivers. And our mission is to make our communities better, to make hometowns better, and we're doing that in those markets.
Love it. All right, that brings us to the very last question. You've already mentioned this, but we're going to reiterate it. I'm sure people want to reach out, get in contact with you. Where can they find you? And then what can they expect when they reach out?
Yeah. So rockstep.com is the learning center. Rockstep, hopefully you remembered that word. If you want to make an appointment with me, you can go on, you can go send me an email and I'll send you my calendar. We'll get on and do an intro call. Andy Weiner, that's my name, Andy Weiner at rockstep.com. And you can go and also make an appointment on our website. But I do encourage all of your followers, Gabe, to at least learn a little bit more about the shopping center sector, because in today's world, it is the yield play.
Yeah, perfect. I will put those links in the show notes. So if you guys want to reach out to Andy, get involved in the shopping center space, all you got to do is click the little more in the description. It'll pull down that full description in there. You can find his links.
Great.
All right, man. That wraps it up. Thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Hey, Gabe, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. For everybody who's with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. If you guys want to support the show, just leave us a review. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.